I want you to listen carefully, for what I am about to share with you is of utmost importance. It is the key that unlocks the door to your wildest dreams, the bridge that spans the chasm between your current reality and the life you've always imagined. Are you ready to embark on this transformative journey? Are you prepared to witness the miraculous unfoldment of your desires? Then let us begin. First and foremost, we must understand that the world we perceive with our physical senses is but a shadow, a reflection of a greater reality that exists within us. This inner world, this realm of imagination, is the true source of all that we experience in our outer world. It is the workshop wherein we craft our destinies, the sacred space where we commune with the divine. Consider for a moment the nature of your desire. What is it that you truly want? Is it wealth beyond measure, perfect health, a loving relationship, a fulfilling career? Whatever it may be, I want you to know that it already exists within you. Yes, you heard me correctly. Everything you want, everything you've ever dreamed of, is already a part of you, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be brought forth into expression. You see, my dear friends, we live in an infinite universe of possibilities. Every conceivable state, every potential experience already exists in what I call the dimensionally larger world of which we are all a part. Your task, then, is not to create these desires anew, but to select them, to choose them from the infinite array of possibilities that surround you at every moment. But how, you may ask, do we make this selection? How do we bring forth our desires from the realm of potential into the world of actuality? The answer, my friends, lies in the power of your imagination. For it is through the faculty of imagination that we connect with the dimensionally larger world, that we tap into the infinite reservoir of all possibilities. Imagination, you see, is not some frivolous faculty meant only for children and artists. No, imagination is the very substance of reality. It is, as William Blake so eloquently put it, the real and eternal world of which this vegetable universe is but a faint shadow when you imagine. You are engaging in the highest form of creative activity. You are literally shaping the substance of your reality. Now, let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this process. When I say that everything you want is about to appear all at once, I am not speaking metaphorically. I am describing a literal truth about the nature of manifestation. You see, in the realm of imagination, in the dimensionally larger world, there is no time as we understand it in our physical experience. All possibilities exist simultaneously, eternally present in what we might call a divine now. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are not creating something new. Rather, you are selecting a state, a version of reality that already exists. You are tuning your consciousness to a particular frequency, aligning yourself with a specific possibility from the infinite array that surrounds you. This is why I often speak of the importance of living in the end. By this, I mean that you must assume the consciousness, the feeling, the inner conviction of already being or having that which you desire. For in truth, in the realm of imagination, you already are, and have everything you could ever want. Your task is simply to align your consciousness with this truth. Let me give you an example to illustrate this point. Suppose you desire financial abundance. Instead of focusing on your current lack, on the bills that need to be paid, or the debts that weigh upon you, I urge you to assume the feeling of already being financially free. Feel the relief, the joy, the sense of security that comes with having more than enough. Live from that state. Make it your new reality in imagination. As you do this, as you persist in this assumption, you will begin to notice changes in your outer world. Opportunities will arise. Unexpected sources of income will appear. Your entire financial situation will begin to shift. And here's the crucial point. These changes are not caused by your imaginal act. Rather, they are the outer manifestation, the shadow of the shift that has already occurred within you. This is what I mean when I say that everything you want is about to appear all at once. In the moment that you truly assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in the instant that you align your consciousness with the desired state, you have already received it. The outer manifestation is simply catching up to the inner reality you have chosen. Now I can sense that some of you may be skeptical. You may be thinking, but Neville, I've tried visualization, I've tried positive thinking, and nothing has changed to this. I say, examine carefully the nature of your imaginal acts. Are you truly living from the end? Are you fully embodying the state of your wish fulfilled? Or are you simply wishing, hoping, yearning for a change? You see, there is a world of difference between mere wishing and the kind of imaginative act one I'm describing. Wishing implies lack. It reinforces the absence of your desire. But when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, you are acknowledging the presence of your desire. You are aligning with its reality. Moreover, you must persist in your assumption. The Bible tells us to pray without ceasing, and this is what is meant by that instruction. Your prayer is not a verbal petition to some external deity. Your prayer is the feeling, the inner conviction of already being or having that which you desire. And you must hold to this feeling, this conviction, regardless of any apparent contradictions in your outer world. This brings us to another crucial point, the importance of detachment. When I say that everything you want is about to appear all at once, I do not mean that you should anxiously await its arrival, constantly checking to see if it has manifested. Such behavior only reinforces the sense of lack, the feeling of not yet having your desire. Instead, you must cultivate a sense of calm certainty, a quiet confidence that your desire is already yours. This is what is meant by the biblical injunction to be still and know that I am God. In the stillness of your imagination, in the quiet certainty of your assumption, you are God in the act of creation. Let us explore this concept further. When you truly understand that everything you want is about to appear all at once, you will find that your entire relationship with desire changes. No longer will you be consumed by anxious longing, by the feeling of lack or want. Instead, you will experience a profound sense of fulfillment, a deep inner peace that comes from knowing that all is well, that all your desires are already realized in the realm of imagination. This shift in consciousness is transformative. It liberates you from the tyranny of external circumstances, from the ups and downs of worldly events. For when you know that everything you want is about to appear all at once, when you live from this truth, you become impervious to disappointment, immune to discouragement. Consider for a moment how this understanding might change your daily life. Imagine waking up each morning with the unshakable conviction that this day holds infinite possibilities, that everything you've ever wanted is on the verge of manifestation. How would you move through your day? How would you interact with others? How would you respond to challenges? You would, I submit, move through your day with grace and ease, with a sense of joyful anticipation. You would interact with others from a place of abundance, of generosity, knowing that your good is assured. You would face challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth, as stepping stones on the path to your desired end. This, my friends, is the true power of living from the end, of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is not merely a technique for manifesting specific desires, though it certainly can be used for that purpose. More fundamentally, it is a way of being in the world, a state of consciousness that aligns you with the creative power of the universe itself. Now, some of you may be wondering about the mechanics of this process. How, you might ask, does our inner state affect our outer reality? The answer lies in the nature of consciousness itself. You see, consciousness is the only reality. The world you perceive with your physical senses is not separate from you. It is an extension of your consciousness, a projection of your consciousness. This is why I often say that there is no such thing as an external cause. All causes are mental. Your outer world, your experiences, your circumstances are all reflections of your inner state. When you change your inner state, when you assume a new state of consciousness, your outer world must change to reflect this new inner reality. This is not magic, though it may seem magical to those who do not understand the law. It is simply the way the universe operates. It is the law of consciousness, the fundamental principle underlying all creation. And it is this law that ensures that everything you want is about to appear all at once. But let us be clear. When I say that everything is about to appear all at once, I do not necessarily mean that all your desires will manifest simultaneously in your physical reality. The timing and manner of the outer manifestation are not for you to determine. Your task is simply to maintain the inner state, to live from the end, to persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. The outer manifestation will take care of itself. It will unfold in perfect timing, in a way that is in harmony with the totality of your being and the greater good of all. Your job is not to manipulate external circumstances, but to maintain the inner conviction, the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This brings us to another important point, the role of action in this process. Some may interpret this teaching as an invitation to passivity, as suggesting that we need not take any action in the physical world. This is a misunderstanding. Action is a vital part of the creative process, but it must be inspired action, action that flows naturally from your assumed state. When you truly live from the end, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally inspired to take the right actions. These actions will not feel like effort or struggle. They will feel natural, effortless, as if you are being guided by an invisible hand. This is because, in a very real sense, you are being guided. By assuming the state of your wish fulfilled, you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are tapping into a wisdom that far exceeds your limited conscious mind. And this wisdom will guide you, will inspire you to take the perfect actions to bring about the manifestation of your desire. So do not worry about what you should do or how you should do it. Focus instead on maintaining the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live from that state, and the right actions will present themselves to you at the perfect time. This is the true meaning of seeking first the kingdom, of prioritizing the inner state over external action. Now I want to address a question that often arises when I discuss these principles. Some may ask, but Neville, what about the desires of others? What if what I want conflicts with what someone else wants? This is a natural concern, but it arises from a misunderstanding of the nature of consciousness and creation. You see, in the dimensionally larger world, in the realm of pure possibility, there is no conflict. All desires can be fulfilled, all states can be realized without impinging on the desires or states of others. It is only in our limited physical perception that we experience conflict and scarcity. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, you are not taking anything away from anyone else. You are simply aligning yourself with a version of reality where your desire is fulfilled. And in that reality, in that state, everyone else's desires are fulfilled as well, in a way that is in perfect harmony with the whole. This is why I often say that there is no competition in the kingdom of God. In the realm of imagination, in the dimensionally larger world, there is infinite abundance. There is more than enough for everyone. Your good does not come at the expense of another's good. In fact, as you realize your desires, as you manifest your good, you are contributing to the good of all. So do not hesitate to imagine freely, to assume the state of your wish fulfilled, regardless of how it might appear to affect others. Trust in the wisdom of the universe, in the perfect outworking of the law. Know that as you align yourself with your desires, you are aligning yourself with the highest good for all concerned. This understanding liberates you from guilt, from the fear of being selfish or greedy. It allows you to desire boldly, to imagine grandly, knowing that your good is part of the greater good, that your fulfillment contributes to the fulfillment of all. Now, let us delve even deeper into the mechanics of manifestation. When I say that everything you want is about to appear all at once, I am pointing to a fundamental truth about the nature of time and consciousness. You see, in the realm of imagination, in the dimensionally larger world, there is no time as we understand it in our physical experience. All states, all possibilities exist simultaneously in what we might call an eternal now. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are not creating something new in the future. You are selecting a state that already exists. You are tuning your consciousness to a reality that is already present in the eternal now. This is why the feeling is so crucial. The feeling is the secret, the bridge between the world of imagination and the world of physical experience. When you capture the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you embody the state of having or being what you desire, you are literally stepping into that reality. You are aligning your consciousness with the version of you who already has what you want. And here's the miraculous part. The moment you do this, the moment you truly capture that feeling and hold to it, everything begins to shift. The entire universe reconfigures itself to match your new inner state. This is not metaphor or poetic license. It is a literal description of how reality operates. Your outer world, you see, is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. As you change your inner state, as you assume a new state of consciousness, your outer world must change to reflect this new reality. It has no choice. It is simply following the law of consciousness, the fundamental principle that underlies all creation. This is why persistence is so crucial. When you first assume a new state, when you first capture the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your outer world may not immediately reflect this change. This is because there is often a time lag between the inner shift and its outer manifestation. During this period, it may seem as if nothing is happening. The temptation may be to give up, to conclude that it's not working. But this is precisely when you must hold fast to your assumption, when you must persist in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Remember, the outer world is catching up to your new inner reality. Everything is in motion, everything is shifting to align with your new state. But this rearrangement takes time in our physical experience. Your task is to maintain your new state, regardless of any apparent contradictions in your outer world. This is what is meant by living by faith. Faith in this context is not blind belief in something unseen. It is the evidence of things not seen with the physical eye, but perceived clearly with the eye of imagination. It is the unwavering conviction that what you have imagined, what you have assumed in consciousness, is already a reality. As you persist in this faith, as you hold fast to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you will begin to notice changes in your outer world. At first, these changes may be subtle. You might notice small synchronicities, seemingly chance encounters or events that align with your desire. These are signs that the law is working, that the universe is responding to your new state. As you continue to persist, these changes will become more pronounced. Opportunities will arise, circumstances will shift, people will enter or exit your life, all in perfect alignment with your assumed state. And then, often when you least expect it, your desire will manifest fully in your physical reality. This is what I mean when I say that everything you want is about to appear all at once. In the moment that you truly assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in the instant that you align your consciousness with the desired state, you have already received it. The outer manifestation is simply catching up to the inner reality you have chosen. Now I want to address a common misconception about this process. Some may interpret this teaching as suggesting that we can manipulate reality to our whim, that we can force the universe to give us whatever we want. There's a misunderstanding of the law. You see, the law of consciousness is not about imposing your will on the universe. It's about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. It's about recognizing your oneness with the source of all creation and allowing that power to express itself through you. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are not forcing anything. You are simply choosing a state, selecting a version of reality that already exists in the dimensionally larger world. You are aligning your consciousness with a particular possibility from the infinite array that surrounds you. This alignment is not an act of force or will. It is an act of surrender, of allowing. You are surrendering your limited personal will to the greater will of your divine self, your true self, that is one with the creative power of the universe. This is why the state of relaxation is so important in this work. When you are relaxed, when you are in a state of allowing, you open yourself to the infinite possibilities that surround you. You become receptive to the guidance of your higher self, to the wisdom of the universe. So as you imagine your desire fulfilled, as you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, do so with a sense of ease, of relaxation. Don't strain, don't force. Simply allow yourself to sink into the feeling, to become one with the state you desire. This state of relaxed allowance is the fertile soil in which your desires take root and grow. It is the state in which miracles occur, in which the seemingly impossible becomes possible. It is the state in which everything you want appears all at once. Now, let us consider another aspect of this principle. When I say that everything you want is about to appear all at once, I am not just referring to material desires or external circumstances. This principle applies equally to inner states, to qualities of being, to ways of experiencing the world. Perhaps what you truly want is not a specific thing or circumstance, but a state of being. Perhaps you want to experience more love, more joy, more peace in your life. The principle remains the same. Assume the feeling of being loving, joyful, peaceful. Live from that state. Embody it fully in your imagination. As you do this, as you persist in this assumption, you will find that your entire experience of life begins to shift. You will attract experiences, people, circumstances that reflect and reinforce your assumed state. You will begin to see the world through new eyes, to experience reality in a new way. This is the true power of imagination. It is not just about manifesting external things or circumstances. It is about shaping your entire experience of reality, about choosing the state of consciousness from which you live your life. And here's a profound truth. As you elevate your state of consciousness, as you align yourself with higher states of being, you naturally attract experiences that match that state. The things and circumstances you once desired may manifest, but you may find that they no longer hold the same importance for you. This is because you have aligned yourself with something greater than mere material possessions or external circumstances. You have aligned yourself with the creative power of the universe itself. You have recognized your true nature as a divine being, capable of shaping reality through the power of your imagination. This recognition, this alignment with your true self, is the ultimate goal of all desire. It is the state of consciousness in which everything you want appears all at once, because you recognize that you already are everything you could ever want to be. In this state, desire itself is transformed. No longer do you desire from a place of lack or want. Instead, your desires become expressions of your divine nature, ways of bringing more love, more joy, more beauty into the world. Your life becomes a constant act of creation, a continuous unfoldment of infinite possibilities. This, my dear friends, is the promise and the potential that lies within each of you. It is the birthright of every human being, the true purpose of our existence. We are here to recognize our divine nature, to align ourselves with the creative power of the universe, and to express that power through our imagination. As you leave here today, I urge you to carry this truth with you. Remember that everything you want is about to appear all at once, not because you are going to receive something you lack, but because you are about to recognize what you already are, what you already have. Live from this truth. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled in every moment. Persist in your assumption regardless of any apparent contradictions in your outer world. Know that you do this. You are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. You are stepping into your true identity as a divine being. And as you do this, watch in wonder as your world transforms, as everything you've ever wanted begins to appear in your experience, not as something separate from you, but as a natural expression of who you truly are. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Everything you could ever want or need already exists within you. Your task is simply to recognize this truth, to live from it, to express it in your daily life. So go forth with confidence, with joy, with the unshakable knowing that everything you want is about to appear all at once. For in truth, it already has. You simply need to open your eyes to adjust your vision, to see the miraculous reality that surrounds you at every moment. This, my friends, is the promise and the power of your imagination. This is the truth of who you are and what you are capable of. Embrace it fully, live from it completely, and watch in awe as your life becomes a living testament to the creative power that resides within you. Thank you for your attention, for your openness to these truths. May you go forth and create miracles in your life and in the world around you. For you are the miracle, you are the power, you are the divine expressing itself in human form. Everything you want is about to appear all at once because you are about to recognize that you already are everything you could ever want to be. I speak to you about the divine power of living alone, the magnificent state of being complete within yourself. Now, you may think this contradicts what society has taught you about relationships and marriage, but I tell you with complete conviction, living alone is one of the highest states a being can achieve. Let me be perfectly clear. When I speak of living alone, I am not speaking of mere physical solitude. I speak of that glorious state of consciousness where you recognize that you are complete, whole, and perfect exactly as you are. For you see, the world has sold you a lie, a magnificent deception that you need another to be complete. But I tell you now, you are already complete, for you contain within yourself all the powers of God. Consider the first words in Scripture about man. Let us make man in our image. Notice it doesn't say, let us make man and then give him someone else to make him complete. No, man was created complete, whole, perfect, in the image of God. This is your natural state, your divine inheritance. Many of you come to me speaking of loneliness, of emptiness, of the need for partnership. But I tell you now, these feelings arise not from being alone, but from not recognizing your own completeness. You are seeking outside yourself what can only be found within. The kingdom of heaven is within you, not in another person. Let me share with you a principle that I have tested and proven countless times. The state of living alone, when properly understood and embraced, is the most powerful state of consciousness you can occupy. For in this state, you are not divided. Your energy is not scattered. Your focus is not diluted. You are one with yourself, one with God. Consider this. When you are in a relationship, where does your focus go? It goes to the other person, their needs, their wants, their moves, their expectations. But when you live alone, properly understanding this state, your focus remains on the only creative power in existence, your own wonderful human imagination. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this selfish? Aren't we meant to share our lives with others? Let me be very clear, there is no other. What you see as others are aspects of yourself pushed out. Therefore, when you focus on your own completeness, you are actually expressing the highest form of love, the recognition of the divine in yourself. I think about the great mystics and prophets throughout history. Did they not often retreat into solitude? Did they not find their greatest revelations when alone? This was not by accident, my dear friends. They understood this principle that I share with you tonight, that in solitude we find our true power. Let me explain this further. When you live alone, properly understanding this state, you are not running from relationships. You are not hiding from love. Instead, you are claiming your divine birthright of completeness. You are saying to the universe, I am complete. I am whole. I am sufficient unto myself. Consider the words of Scripture. Be still and know that I am God. Notice it doesn't say, be still and know that we are God, or be still and find someone else to make you God. No, it speaks of that individual recognition of your own divine nature. This recognition comes most powerfully in solitude. Many of you spend your days seeking completion in relationships, seeking happiness in partnerships, seeking fulfillment in romantic connections. But I tell you now, this is like seeking water in a desert mirage. The water you seek is within you. The love you seek is within you. The completion you seek is within you. Let me share with you a profound truth that most of the world has missed. When you truly embrace living alone, you experience a freedom that no relationship can provide. This is not the freedom to do whatever you want, though that certainly comes with it. This is the freedom to be whoever you truly are, without the distortions and compromises that relationships often demand. Think about it. In a relationship, how much of yourself do you compromise? How many of your dreams do you modify? How many of your desires do you suppress? But when you live alone, embracing the state fully, you are free to be exactly who you are, to pursue exactly what you desire, to live exactly as you choose. This is not about being selfish or uncaring. Rather, it is about being true to your divine nature. For how can you truly love others if you are not first true to yourself? How can you give freely if you are constantly compromising your own truth? Let me share with you another principle that I have tested and proven. The state of living alone, when properly understood, is the most powerful manifestation state you can occupy. For in this state, your imagination is not cluttered with the thoughts, beliefs, and limitations of others. Your creative power flows purely and directly. Consider this when you are in a relationship. How often do you modify your imaginal acts based on what your partner might think or want? How often do you limit your dreams to accommodate their reality? But when you live alone, your imagination is free to soar to whatever heights it chooses. Many of you fear living alone because you have been taught that it means being lonely. But I tell you now, loneliness is a state of consciousness, not a circumstance. You can be surrounded by people and feel intensely lonely, or you can be completely alone and feel deeply connected to all of life. Think of it this way: every great invention, every magnificent work of art, every profound spiritual revelation, these not come from individuals who are willing to be alone with their thoughts, alone with their imagination, alone with their God. This is not coincidence, my dear friends. This is law. Let me share with you another truth that many find difficult to accept. Relationships often serve as distractions from your true purpose. They can become comfortable hiding places where you never have to face yourself, never have to grow, never have to become who you truly are. But when you live alone, properly understanding this state, you have no choice but to face yourself. You have no choice but to grow. You have no choice but to become who you truly are. This is why many fear solitude, because it forces them to confront their own divine nature. Consider the story of Jesus going into the wilderness for 40 days. This was not a punishment. This was not a hardship. This was a necessary step in claiming his divine nature. The wilderness, the solitude, was not an obstacle to overcome. It was the very means of his transformation. Many of you have been taught that relationships are the path to growth, to learning, to becoming better people. But I tell you now, while relationships can certainly teach us things, the deepest growth, the most profound learning, the most complete transformation always happens in solitude. Think about it: when you are constantly in relationship, constantly adjusting to another's presence, constantly accommodating another's reality, how can you truly know yourself? How can you truly hear your own inner voice? How can you truly follow your own divine guidance? Let me share with you another principle that I have tested and proven. The state of living alone, when properly understood, is the most powerful healing state you can occupy. For in this state, you are not taking on the energies, the emotions, the problems of others. You are free to focus entirely on your own healing, your own growth, your own transformation. Consider this. When you are in a relationship, how much of your energy goes to managing the other person's moves? How much of your time is spent dealing with their issues? How much of your attention is diverted from your own healing journey? But when you live alone, all of that energy, all of that time, all of that attention can be focused on your own growth and healing. Many of you fear living alone because you have been taught that we need others to heal, to grow, to become whole. But I tell you now, while others can certainly support our healing journey, the deepest healing always happens in solitude, in that sacred space where it's just you and God. Think of it this way. When you break a bone, yes, doctors can set it, friends can support you, but the actual healing happens within your own body. No one else can do that healing for you. In the same way, your deepest emotional and spiritual healing can only happen within you, in the silence of your own being. Let me share with you another truth that society often tries to deny. Relationships often create more problems than they solve. They often bring more complexity than clarity, more confusion than certainty, more distraction than direction. But when you live alone, properly understanding this state, life becomes remarkably simple. Your decisions are your own. Your time is your own. Your energy is your own. The simplicity is not a limitation. It is a profound freedom that allows you to focus entirely on your divine purpose. Consider the great spiritual teachers throughout history. Yes, they interacted with others, they taught others, they loved others, but their power, their clarity, their connection to divine truth came from their willingness to be alone, to be complete within themselves. Many of you spend your lives seeking the perfect relationship, the perfect partner, the perfect connection. But I tell you now, what you are really seeking is your own perfection, your own completeness, your own divine nature. And this can only be found within yourself. Think about it. How many relationships have you entered hoping they would make you happy, make you complete, make you whole? And how many times has this strategy failed? This is because you are seeking outside yourself what can only be found within. Let me share with you another principle that I have tested and proven. The state of living alone, when properly understood, is the most powerful creative state you can occupy. For in this state, your creative energy is not divided, not compromised, not diluted by the needs and demands of relationship. Consider this. When you are in a relationship, how much of your creative energy goes into maintaining the relationship itself? How much of your creative power is spent on managing the dynamics, handling the conflicts, navigating the compromises? But when you live alone, all of that creative energy can be directed toward your divine purpose. Many of you fear living alone because you have been taught that creativity flourishes in relationship, in connection, in partnership. But I tell you now, while collaboration can certainly produce wonderful things, the most profound creativity always emerges from solitude, from that sacred space where you are one with your own imagination. Think of it this way: every great book, every magnificent symphony, every profound philosophical insight, these came not from committees or relationships, but from individuals who were willing to spend long hours alone with their thoughts, alone with their creativity, alone with their God. Let me share with you another truth that many find difficult to accept. Relationships often drain our energy rather than enhance it. They often deplete our resources rather than multiply them. They often diminish our power rather than amplify it. But when you live alone, properly understanding this state, your energy remains intact. Your resources remain your own. Your power remains undiluted. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship of your divine gifts. Consider the words of Scripture. What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world but loses his own soul? I tell you now, many relationships cause exactly this, a losing of oneself in the attempt to gain or maintain connection with another. Many of you have been taught that relationships are necessary for growth, for learning, for becoming who you are meant to be. But I tell you now, while relationships can certainly teach us things, the most profound growth, the deepest learning, the most complete becoming always happens in solitude. Think about it when you are constantly adjusting to another's presence, constantly accommodating another's reality, constantly compromising your own truth. How can you truly grow in meant you are meant to be? How can you truly hear your own inner guidance? How can you truly follow your own divine path? Let me share with you another principle that I have tested and proven. The state of living alone, when properly understood, is the most powerful manifestation state you can occupy. For in this state, your manifestation energy is not divided, not compromised, not diluted by the needs and desires of others. Consider this when you are in a relationship. How often do you modify your desires to accommodate your partner? How often do you compromise your dreams to maintain harmony? How often do you settle for less than what you truly want? Because it's easier than dealing with conflict. But when you live alone, your desires remain pure. Your dreams remain intact. Your manifestations remain undiluted. This is not selfishness. This is alignment with your divine nature. Think of it this way. Every great achievement, every magnificent creation, every profound breakthrough, these came not from compromise or consensus, but from individuals who were willing to stand alone in their vision, alone in their purpose, alone in their truth. Let me share with you another truth that society often tries to deny. Relationships often create more limitation than liberation. They often bring more constraint than freedom, more obligation than opportunity, more burden than blessing. But when you live alone, properly understanding this state, you are truly free, free to pursue your dreams without compromise, free to follow your guidance without explanation, free to be who you truly are without apology. Consider the great innovators throughout history. Yes, they may have had teams and supporters, but their greatest innovations came from their willingness to stand alone in their vision, to trust their own imagination, to follow their own guidance. Many of you spend your lives seeking security in relationships, seeking safety in partnerships, seeking stability in connections with others. But I tell you now, the only true security, the only real safety, the only lasting stability comes from your connection with your own divine nature. Think about it. How many relationships have you entered seeking security, only to find more insecurity? How many partnerships have you formed seeking safety, only to find more danger? How many connections have you made seeking stability, only to find more chaos? This is because you are seeking outside yourself what can only be found within. The security you seek is not in another person, it is in your recognition of your own divine nature. The safety you desire is not in a relationship, it is in your connection with your own I am. Let me share with you another principle that I have tested and proven. The state of living alone, when properly understood, is the most powerful, abundant state you can occupy. For in this state, your resources are not divided, not compromised, not diluted by the needs and demands of relationship. Consider this when you are in a relationship. How much of your abundance goes to maintaining the relationship itself? How much of your resources are spent on managing the dynamics, handling the compromises, navigating the conflicts? But when you live alone, all of those resources can be directed toward your divine purpose. Many of you fear living alone because you have been taught that abundance comes through partnership, through sharing, through combining resources with another. But I tell you now, while sharing can certainly multiply abundance, the most profound abundance always flows from your recognition of your own completeness. Think of it this way. Every great fortune, every magnificent empire, every profound legacy, these came not from relationships or partnerships, but from individuals who are willing to stand alone in their vision, alone in their purpose, alone in their truth. Let me share with you another truth that many find difficult to accept. Relationships often create more scarcity than abundance. They often bring more limitation than expansion, more constraint than freedom, more obligation than opportunity. But when you live alone, properly understanding this state, you experience true abundance. Not just material abundance, though that certainly comes, but the abundance of being fully yourself, of living fully your truth, of expressing fully your divine nature. Consider the words of Scripture. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things shall be added unto you. The kingdom of heaven is not in another person, it is within you. When you seek it there, everything else naturally falls into place. Many of you have been taught that relationships are necessary for success, for achievement, for creating the life you desire. But I tell you now, while relationships can certainly support our success, the most profound achievements, the greatest successes, the most complete creations always come from our willingness to stand alone in our truth. Think about it. When you are constantly adjusting to another's presence, constantly accommodating another's reality, constantly compromising your own vision, how can you truly create what you are meant to create? How can you truly achieve what you are meant to achieve? How can you truly succeed in your divine purpose? Let me share with you another principle that I have tested and proven. The state of living alone, when properly understood, is the most powerful peace state you can occupy. For in this state, your peace is not dependent on another's mood, not compromised by another's stress, not diluted by another's chaos. Consider this when you are in a relationship. How much of your peace is disturbed by your partner's moods? How much of your tranquility is disrupted by their stress? How much of your serenity is compromised by their chaos? But when you live alone, your peace remains intact. Your tranquility remains undisturbed. Your serenity remains complete. Many of you fear living alone because you have been taught that peace comes through relationship, through sharing your life with another. But I tell you now, while relationships can certainly bring moments of peace, the most profound peace, the deepest tranquility, the most complete serenity always comes from within. Think of it this way. Every great sage, every magnificent teacher, every profound master, did they not find their greatest peace in solitude? Did they not discover their deepest wisdom in silence?